California. Natalia, did you have a story to tell or a question to ask?
Hi, Vince. I had a question to ask. I'm really nervous because there's been some delays in my trial and my jurisdictional hearing. So we're going to court on the 15th. And I'm really scared because from what I can see, it's a document trial and I'm concerned. I really feel that I don't have a strong defense and I need some tips on what to do because I feel like I'm going to be railroaded, basically.
Do you feel comfortable telling me what the allegations are, just generally?
Yeah, I mean, I have some reservations about it, but I'll go ahead and release as much as I can, but really confidential. I believe it's severe physical abuse, but I have a teenager who's making false allegations.
Mm-hmm. Well, if that's the case, I mean, I wouldn't have a document trial, just me. And take this with a grain of salt. Look, I haven't reviewed your case, right? I haven't seen any evidence. I haven't seen any documents. I haven't talked to anyone, no witnesses, nothing. But generally, if you're going to have a document trial, generally the odds are against you and you're going to lose because there's no live testimony. There's nobody, up there for the judge to listen to that's going to contradict what the documents say. I mean, sure, I'm sure the documents say, my mom beat the crap out of me. Well, if you don't have any documents that say the contrary, who's the judge going to believe? Just weighing the evidence. Going to believe your child. If you have a document that says that no, you did it, who's the judge going to believe? Probably your child. It's hard for the judge to tell who's telling the truth and not telling the truth unless they're up on the witness stand, being examined and cross-examined, and the judge can tell or make that decision, who's telling the truth. Now, they don't have crystal balls, and I don't want you to think that I think that they do, but in our system, the judge gets to decide who's telling the truth and who's not telling the truth. So if that's going to happen, you need to be calling at least one or two witnesses, your son and you, at the very least. Now, there may be other people involved, and one of the things I would do is I'd make an Excel spreadsheet of all the statements that your son has made, and depending on his age, the older he gets, the more effective this strategy is. Make a list of all the statements he's made and show the differences in the stories. Sometimes the differences are just slight, but he's not telling the same story every time he tells the story. So the conclusion is, or your lawyer can argue, the conclusion is he's not being truthful. You get that strategy?
Yes, I'm just, I guess, when I, because there's not a lot I can say because, it can be subject to criminal indictment or something, I guess, criminal charges after, so I'm really light on what to say, but, it's not true, and some of the medical evidence is so old, so I feel like I'm going to get railroaded, and I don't know. And sometimes I feel like my lawyer thinks I did it, and I'm like, I didn't do this, so there's some other stuff going on, some other motivations, and would you suggest that, highlighting those motivations would also be helpful or no?
Absolutely. Highlighting them.
Okay.
But you bring up something that I didn't consider because, I haven't reviewed your case. The criminal aspect is something that you do have to consider, whether there's a pending case or whether there's going to be a case in the future. If you testify, that testimony can be used against you positively or negatively in a subsequent criminal case. So that's definitely something, if your court-appointed attorney told you to consider or, came up with a strategy of having a paper trial, that's definitely something that I would consider. Although I might still consider calling the kid or consider calling another witness that can show some of the motivations, of the child.
Okay. All right. No, that was helpful. So I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Vince. I appreciate everything.
Sure. Thank you for calling. Call us in a few weeks and let us know what happened. Give us an update, okay?
Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Right now, I'm going to bring on the screen, and for those of you watching the live streams on YouTube and Facebook, our newest co-host to our family of our 21 shows per week, Miss Brenda Coles. Brenda, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Well, welcome to the show, and welcome as a co-host to this show, The Secret, How to Fight CPS and Win.
Absolutely. I'm so glad to be here.
Now, Brenda, a lot of our audience may not know who you are or how you even connected to this crazy world. We got about 3 more minutes left before the next commercial break. Try to tell us who you are and how you got here.
Oh, thank you, Attorney Davis. My name is Brenda Coles. I am the president for the Richmond, Virginia chapter of the National Action Network, which our founder and national president is Reverend Al Sharpton. Now, I've been working in civil rights, social justice, human rights for about 4 decades. This is absolutely just something that I love because not only that, but I have experienced myself issues with CPS and also the other court issues. So that was one part of my drive. And I think that was the biggest part of my drive because we're talking about my child. So that was just one part of my drive, but also just the love of wanting to make sure that I can help other people that was going through what I went through, and also being able to help our children to be able to grow up. Because a lot of times we forget our kids when they're babies. Those babies got to grow up and be adults, and we want them to be healthy adults. So that was another part of my drive. And so I have been a nonprofit advocate, community advocate throughout not just the state of Virginia. I live in the Richmond, Virginia area, but throughout this nation.
Very good. Well, welcome to the show. And this show, The Secret, How to Fight CPS and Win, is geared towards basically taking calls from parents all over the country, and they tell us their story, and they ask us questions. Also, on the live streams on 8 different channels, people post questions. I see them, and I try to answer those questions for the folks. So I think it's almost time for another break from our engineer.
Yeah, we can take the break.
All right. So this is The Secret, How to Fight CPS and Win. I'm attorney Vince Davis with my co-host Brenda Coles. We'll be right back after these messages.